Yo, what up, dogs? Last night I went and saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I went at 7 o'clock. I got one ticket last minute, and there was only very limited seats at the theater. It was packed front to back. Like, you had to get neck breaker seats, man. That's how packed it was. I got lucky that I actually got a row off to the side to an aisle, but it was great, man. It was so packed. I haven't been in a full house in so long. It was just refreshing, and it just made the movie experience even more fun. And I have a lot of notes here. We have a lot to talk about. This movie, I'm just going to tell you right now, guys, right off the hop, the review is simple. I loved it. It is fun. It's not perfect, but it is damn good. And I want to watch it again. I wish I went and saw it in IMAX. I couldn't get IMAX tickets, but I want to see it again. I've seen the original many times, or sorry, the first one, many times. And this one, I feel like I need to go and see it at least once more, maybe twice more, just to experience it. Because just to watch it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like the first watch through, I was just taking in so much information at once of like everything. This movie is so busy, and it might be a turnoff for some, but I loved every minute of it. Artistically, visually, I was just like, it like blew my mind, man. Like the level of creativity and detail and artistic style that this movie just like, it just was like crazy, man. I can't even explain it. Like, I know I caught myself sitting at the screen like this. I know I was. And I had to snap out of it and be like, I felt like a kid. Like, I was just like enjoying this movie so much. And there are things in this film where you're kind of like, didn't you just already do this? Like, there's some repetitiveness in this, it felt like. And that's why I want to go back and watch this movie again. Because, like, I could have just been like glossed over from all the visuals. Like, I love beautiful art, and this movie just did it for me. I have the notes. I've already talked about how much I loved it. Let's just jump into like the characters and what everything. There's so much going on in this movie. I hope I don't make a super long review, but let's just start it right off here. We got Miles Morales back, of course. It's all about him, played by Shameik Moore. And in this iteration, he's very torn. You know, he's Spider-Man. He's doing his thing. He's beating up all the villains, and he doesn't have no friends. Like, Gwen Stacy's gone. He's having issues with his parents. He's trying to be a good student. He wants to go to Princeton. There's a lot of relationship issues going on. He's not there for his family when his family needs him. And it's really tearing him apart being Spider-Man and being a family guy, like a kid, like being a teenager, right? So he's got a lot going on. And he comes across a new villain, which is Spot, who is played by, who's played by Jason Schwartz. And when these two collide, it's kind of like Michael Morales is just like, oh, you're just another villain of the week, and he beats him up, but he doesn't really beat him up. Like, the Spot character is still kind of learning about his powers and his abilities, and he's actually pretty sympathetic at the beginning because he is created because of Spider-Man, because of the whole collider from the first movie, and he's the guy that gets the bagel thrown at him at the science lab, and he is created because of Spider-Man, and now he can't like live a normal life. He doesn't have human features anymore. He is literally just a white-skinned body with spots all over him. So he can't work, and the only way he can work or survive is, you know, he's got to heist. He's got to pull small gigs, but he still doesn't understand and grasp his powers yet. And he's angry at Spider-Man, and Spider-Man doesn't care. He just calls him a villain of the week. And that really drives Spot to be like, oh, I'll show you. And over the course of the movie, we are chasing after Spot. He is an anomaly because he's able to not control, but he can manipulate the multiverse by going to any multiverse he wants and cause havoc. You know what I'm saying? So he's a very interesting character, and he actually evolves from this like noob of a villain and figuring out his powers and learning about what he can do to eventually becoming this like evolution. Like he becomes crazy powerful near the end of the movie, and you're just like, oh, what is he going to be able to do? And we don't follow Spot a lot, but we are chasing after him along the way. And also along the way, Gwen Stacy is a big focus at the beginning of this movie to get us really drawn into her character, because this is going to play out into the third movie, which you got to remember that this is part 1 of part 2 of the 3 movies. So we're focused on her, learning more about Gwen, and we go through a lot of cool stuff about her whole backstory, and I don't want to spoil any of that. But she's cool as always, as Gwen. But there's like, I want to just point one thing out. Like, I'm going to try not to spoil anything because I really want you guys to go and watch this. So I'm going to be very light, okay? So we go through Gwen's story, and the art in Gwen's story between her and her father. You have to see it for this. Like, the watercolors that are going on and the color theory that's being used in here, it's freaking beautiful. Oh man, the tension that is just created between Gwen Stacy and her father, and the colors that they use is so dramatic. I just sat there. I was like, this is beautiful. Like, this is it was just beautiful work, man. And you got to go see it for that alone. And also, as she is figuring out herself and the things that go on in her life, she gets not really recruited to join the Spider-Verse elite unit of Spider-Men that are out there to protect the Spider-Verse. Because we get this really wicked fight scene in the Gwen story with Vulture, who is played by Jorma Taccone. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. And this Vulture comes from, it looks like the Leonardo da Vinci universe. And he's all like this like paper, like, you know, aged paper look. And he looks so damn cool. Again, the art, so damn cool. But he looks so damn cool. And he has all these abilities. And they have a great fight scene between him and Gwen. And then that's when Spider-Woman shows up, who's played by Issa Rae, who's Jessica Drew, and she shows up and joins in the fight. And I thought she was kind of cool looking. I liked how her spider webs shot out of her fingers. And I thought, like, she's pregnant, and I was just like, okay, I hope that's a payoff. Like, it's kind of funny because as the movie progresses forwards, I feel like there's a time skip in a sense that's not really mentioned, and Spider-Woman is still pregnant when we see her again, and I'm kind of like, wasn't this months away? So that's just me thinking, but I wonder if there's going to be a payoff for it. And she is kind of cool. There's one weird thing in this movie with her, between her and Peter Parker, who is played by Jake Johnson. He comes back, and they kind of have this like rivalry of who was the better mentor, so to speak, because Jessica Drew keeps on dissing Peter as Morales keeps on not necessarily screwing up the Spider-Verse in a sense, but yeah, I guess that's the best way to look at it. And Peter's like, no, I was a good mentor. But then when you look at Jessica as a mentor to Gwen, and Gwen's doing all this bad stuff too, you're also like, well, why isn't anyone riffing on Jessica for being a bad mentor? So there's this like weird mentor relationship between the adult and the youth. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and then we have, what's his face? Oscar Isaac, who plays Miguel O'Hare, who's Spider-Man 2099. Dope Spider-Man, by the way. He's also super cool, and he joins in the fight with the Vulture, and that's how we're all introduced. And he's just a cool dude. Everyone in this freaking movie is cool. Like, every character is cool. And there's so many cool just combat scenes, and just watching Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen and Spider-Woman and like all the other Spider people like just flow fluidly as they would from like, man, I don't know about you guys. Like, I've read the comic books growing up as a kid, and I watched the cartoons, and I could always just visualize how Spider-Man would fly through the sky, and it would just be so damn cool. And this movie brings it to life for me, and that's why I love it so damn much. And what else happens in here? You know what? I actually forgot to mention that Gwen Stacy's played by Hailee Steinfeld, and she's great. I liked her every minute of her. Yeah, that's good. Sorry, I might edit that part. So then we get other Spider-Men as Miles is starting to go through the Spider universe. We get to I think it's called Mumbai, which is, I guess, India's version of Manhattan. That's its universe. And we have a Spider-Man Paviter, who's played by Karan Soni. And he's super cool. Like, I just like this. I like his ability of using his webs with this, like, I don't know what the name of the toy is, the yo-yo toy that you use with the ropes. I know it as like not devil sticks, but the other, I can't remember what it's called. But he's so cool with it, and it just flows cool. And then like when we learn of the events that happen there, that's when we start learning more about the actual Spider-Verse and things that are called canon events that happen to every Spider-Man, no matter what universe they're in. And they have to happen or else they cause anomalies. And this is where the story kind of starts to unfold a little bit more, that everything about Miles Morales is an anomaly. Nothing that happened to him was actually supposed to happen, because the spider that bit him in the first one actually comes from Universe 42. And that is why, as we find out, that I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I don't want to tell you. But cool things happen. And then the story makes sense, man. It just all makes sense. And then we also get introduced to my favorite Spider-Man. I didn't even know anything about the Spider-Man, but he turned into my favorite every single minute he was on the screen, man. He is Spider-Punk, played by Daniel Kaluuya. I think his character's name is actually Hobie Brown. And I loved him. I loved every minute he was on the screen. I loved his artwork. I loved everything about him. I liked his attitude. Just down with the system, man. And he was my favorite character. I look forward to seeing him some more in the future. And, like, what else is there to talk about this movie, man? It's so damn good. It's so damn good. Like, I was in awe again. And you know what was really cool about this movie? I have no bad things to say about this movie. I could, if I wanted to be super, super picky and be like, yeah, it isn't a perfect movie, obviously. I could just say it's not perfect because there's a little bloat. And there were some concepts that I think they handled and they went over it once or twice. And that's it. Like, and that's just being nitpicky. But, like, if I don't want to be nitpicky, it's great. It's great. You know what I'm saying? You know what I noticed about my reviews? I change my mind as I talk about them. The more I think about these films, the more I'm like, yeah, these are cool. Movies are great, man. I don't care. This film, yeah, man. So the thing that was really cool, So I loved the last 15, 20 minutes of this film, man, where everything just started coming together for Miles. Like the story that they're setting up for this third movie and all the little pieces, like, maybe some of you guys are going to be more sleuth and figure it all out when things are happening. But I was sitting there, I'm like, oh, like as it was unveiling, I'm like, oh. And then when the one thing happens, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I know what's going on. However, I wasn't expecting a couple of the things that happened. And I thought that was super damn cool. And it's really set up the third movie for me. And the cool thing that happened in my audience, when that movie hit the credits, people were stunned in silence that the movie just ended, because I think everyone was ready to go for like another 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? They were kind of just like, what? Like, it was just like, once the house lights went on, everyone was like, huh? And the claps were like slow. They were like, is it over? It was so funny because like there was a bunch of people that were just like, what the heck's happening? Yeah, and I remember hearing a dude when I was going out to do my ticket thing. He was like, I feel totally hosed at that ending. And I'm like, dude, they got you, man. You're not hosed. The directors and writers, they got you. It was perfect. They set it up, man. It was a great way to just end the second one. They set up everything. There's a little bit of payoffs that happened. I gotta go see it again, I think. Man, I wonder if I can get IMAX tickets before, what's the next movie that's coming out? Flash? No, Transformers. I'm gonna have to try and sneak it in. Anyways, that's all I got to say, man. Go see it. Just go see it. It's so good. It's so good. And if you can, probably go and see it in IMAX. Like, try to get that beautiful, crisp 4K view. I'll tell you this right now. It's definitely going into the collection. day one purchase, 4K. And that's all I got to say about that. I'm out of here. Whatever movie you're watching, I hope you're enjoying it. And I'm out, man. Peace out. Bye, everybody. Bye.